Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Morning.
Good morning. And this is the sentencing, correct? All right, so, excuse me. So this is the sentencing. What ends up happening is someone has entered into a plea bargaining agreement.
We're not even a minute in, and it's already crystal clear. This is a felony case, and the stakes couldn't be higher. No weapons, no ammunition, no room for excuses. The courtroom is laying down the law hardband if the defendant thinks this is just another hearing. They're in for a harsh wake-up call. This isn't the place for games, and justice isn't pulling any punches.
Prepare a pre-sentence investigation report. It's the person's entire background, the criminal history if they have any. And then the state or the defense will get a chance to present whatever witnesses or evidence they want presented. All right, the court is calling 2024 CR 007421, State versus Johnny Ruiz Jr. Can I have parties announced for the record? State, defense.
Ray Lopez for the defense.
And are you Mr. Ruiz?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you entered a plea on January 28th of no contest to the offense of collision involving death. According to your plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 10 years in the prison. There's a $2,000 fine. The state is opposed to your...
Pause for a second when the charge carries a cap of 10 years. That doesn't mean the defendant's catching a break. It simply gives the judge full discretion to hand down anything up to the maximum. There's no promise of leniency here. And when restitution to the victim's family is on the table, it adds a heavy emotional and legal weight. This isn't just about time behind bars, it's about accountability that follows long after the verdict.
There's to be restitution to the next of kin of the deceased. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report, state?
Yes.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections to the PSI report, state?
No.
Defense?
No, Your Honor.
Any witnesses, state? Defense, any witnesses?
To Your Honor, my client and his employer, who's going to be very brief.
Oh, well, it can take as long as it takes, but
Two witnesses.
all right, who would you like to call, counsel?
I'll call Mr. Reese.
All right, Mr. Ruiz, can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
It's Johnny Reese Jr.
All right, defense, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. So you're here today asking the court for probation. Is that correct?
Yes.
Can you tell the court in your own words kind of what happened that day of the incident?
I had just gotten off of work that day. Went to a friend of mine's. We were supposed to catch up on a video game. That's what we did most of the night. From there, we got something to eat before we got any later. Anything closed down. We ended up getting some Fred's fish that day. No, I believe they took a little bit longer. I fell asleep on a nap waiting for them. From the time they got back, I noticed it was already late. Got some ice, what they brought. From there, I took off home for where we were staying at, where I was staying at. And during that moment, something happened and ended up
Listen closely, this is where it gets heavy. Ruiz claims he didn't realize he'd hit a person, but in the eyes of the law, that excuse doesn't always hold water. In cases like this, it's not just about what you knew, it's about what you should have known. That legal distinction can turn a tragic mistake into criminal negligence, and it's exactly where things start to spiral for Ruiz.
Noticed I had hit something. Wasn't too sure what it was. The fact that it was dark in that area. Drove a little bit further down, stopped. Before I saw light, I believe there was a hotel there. Figured maybe I'd stop there just in case he did see anything or anything happened. I was able to offer help, honk the horn, something. So when I went down, I didn't see anything. Didn't see nothing. I didn't hear nobody. Assuming that, you know, they had struck an animal or something. So I left back to where I was staying at, and you know, I saw there was damage on the windshield, of course. I didn't see anything, you know, that indicated that there's a person, a dog, an animal. I'm pretty sure if I would have hit an animal or something, I would have saw blood or whatever the case is. But didn't see anything. I figured I was like, maybe somebody threw something in my car or something. I mean, if there was nothing wrong, you know. That's when I started thinking negative, like, you know, and I would have stopped there, something would happen to me. Somebody did throw something in my car. At that point, I figured, you know, that I would have been okay. I mean, I didn't see nobody. Next morning, I knocked on the door. It was a detective that told me that there had been an accident. I might have been involved in something, you know, an accident that happened down the street. You know, I just couldn't believe it. It just said it was an accident under a person. I asked, was everything okay? Were they okay? The detective assured me that the person was fine. I picked him up. He was in the hospital. That he was going to be fine. Except they took me in that day as well. So just, I guess, to the interrogation room or wherever they take me. They just asked me what happened that night. Same thing that I'm saying now. From that point, I mean, like I said, the detective assured me that he was going to be fine. He was okay. They just needed to find out what happened. Also told me that, you know, he was in the wrong because he was in the street. You know, as far as what he told me, I didn't see who it was or what it was. He told me that, you know, it was a person. It just upset me. I just wasn't thinking my right mind.
And here's the gut punch moment. Therese finds out months later that the victim didn't survive. From a legal standpoint, that changes everything. What might have been a hit-and run now becomes a fatal incident. And with that, the consequences shift dramatically. This isn't just about fleeing the scene anymore. It's about potential prison time. One revelation, and the entire case takes a much darker turn.
When did you come to learn that the person that you hit in the collision ultimately passed away?
It wasn't until a few months later I had learned that he passed away 2 weeks after he'd been struck.
And how do you feel about it? I mean, can you tell us what your mind was going through when you learned that information?
Horrible. I gotta live with.
I'm sorry, what?
Something that I have to live with. It's a terrible feeling.
Do you still think about it to this day?
Think about it every day. Every day. Can't go to sleep. There's times when I stay up till 4, 5 in the morning. I gotta go to work the next day. I gotta work through it. It bothers me every day.
Why do you feel that you're a good candidate for probation?
I have a family. I mean, I have my kids. I have an obligation to support my kids. I love them a lot. After being away from them, not being able to help them, provide food, you know, I've gotten.
Partis Teferi's is clearly emotional, offering restitution and asking for probation. But here's where the legal tension cuts deep. Is genuine remorse enough? When someone's life is gone, the courtroom has to weigh intent, impact, and accountability. It's a human moment, but also a legal one. What would you do if you were the judge? Show compassion or uphold the full weight of the law?
Is there any way to pay any type of restitution? You know, as well, you know, kind of take responsibility for what's going on. And for me for the court to grant me probation, I can continue to do my best to, you know, to work.
Now, have you been employed? How long have you been employed for?
For the past year, I think it started in February. So it's a little over a year already.
And where are you employed at?
It's a company, it's a landscaping company.
And do you know if you'll be able to continue your employment after, if you get put on probation?
Yes. Sure. I will.
And aside from your children, do you have any other family members that you're helping to, they rely on you?
Well, I mean, at the time, right now, it's my kids. My mother's sick. Other than that, she's disabled. So, I mean, I'd really like to get to be more involved with her as well.
And have you had any have you ever been arrested in the past 20 years?
No.
And you
I've
haven't,
never been arrested.
and how old are you?
38 years old.
Okay, so you had a few incidences when you were a minor.
Well, I believe so. I think it was, I think in middle school. No, there was one incident that I went to juvie for a day or so. I can't remember how long it was.
But since you've been an adult, you have not had any issues with the law until
No.
this incident. Last witness.
Any questions?
Yes, Judge. So Mr. Ruiz, at the time of the offense, you were staying at a roadway inn that was located on Enrique Barrera Parkway, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and so the accident happened somewhere on Old Highway 90, is that correct?
Yeah.
And so those locations are kind of close to each other, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you kind of give me an idea? You said that you stopped at a hotel. Did you stop at the roadway inn or a different hotel?
Well, I mean, where I was staying, I can't remember what it was called. I think there's several hotels that were there. I stopped at the very first one. Like I said, where I saw that there was some kind of light. Because it was dark in that area.
Okay, so you stopped at a different hotel, not the hotel that you were staying at.
No. Stopped at a different hotel. Yes.
Okay, thank you. And so regarding your vehicle is a relatively small vehicle, correct?
Yeah.
It was a smart passion, like a smart car, is that correct? Okay, and so it had a good amount of damage to it, wouldn't you agree with me? So it had the broken windshield concentrated on the passenger side, right?
Yeah.
And then it also had passenger side body damage, correct? And then the broken, or the headlight on the passenger side was also broken. And then the passenger side mirror was also missing. Is that correct?
I believe so.
Okay. And so in the PSI and in your testimony today, you said that there's a lot of dogs in the area. Is that correct? Okay. And so you said possibly you thought that you hit a dog.
Yes.
The evidence that I've seen in the case suggests to me that when the complainant was hit, the body flew up onto the windshield, causing that impact. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. And so if you were to hit a dog, obviously a dog is not as tall as a human, right? And so if you were to hit a dog, you would have felt the impact of rolling over the dog, right?
Possible, but for that type of vehicle, it's so low to the ground and tiny, anything hits that windshield goes up.
Okay.
Because it's such an incline, that smart car.
So you think it's possible if you would have hit a dog that the dog also would have flew up onto the...
As well.
Okay. And so then I have some other questions. So you said the first time that you learned that you were involved in a collision involving a person was when the detective came to the hotel. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And before the detective took you downtown to take a statement from you, he kind of spoke to you at your hotel room, right?
Yeah.
And so when he was speaking to you at that point, you told him that you believe that the damage to your vehicle was caused by a tree that had fell on the vehicle, right? Okay. And so you weren't forthcoming with him at that time, right? Okay. And regarding, who is Cecilia Rodriguez?
That was supposed to be my wife or my ex-girlfriend.
Okay.
At this time.
And is she the mother of one of your children?
Yes.
Okay. And so she has no reason to say anything false against you, right?
She should.
Okay. And she was staying with you at the roadway and at that time, right? All right. And so Cecilia stated that she confronted you. So Cecilia noticed the damage, right, that night?
No, she didn't go out that night. She didn't see nothing that night.
Was it in the morning that
It
she
was in
saw
the
it?
morning.
Okay. And so when she sees the damage to the vehicle, she confronts you about it and you tell her you don't know what happened, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then she stated that based on what she saw, she believed that you hit something, right?
I don't know exactly what she said. No.
Okay. So if that evidence is stipulated too, so I'll just move on. But Cecilia also stated that she believed that you looked inebriated on that day when you returned to the hotel room that night. Were you under the influence of alcohol or drugs?
No.
Why would Cecilia say that?
I'm not too sure, to be honest with you, because she wasn't even present of anything. You know, when I walked in trying to figure out what was going on, undressed myself and got into, you know, my sleep clothes.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really even talk to her that much. I mean, when I got there, she was already asleep. When I, you know, you got a key card to walk in.
Mm-hmm.
So she was asleep. Like, I don't see why she would say.
Okay. And then who's Edward Vargas?
That's a friend of mine that was, well, at the time was a friend. He was in the vehicle as well.
Okay. And so does he have any reason to say anything false against you? Okay. So my question is, why would Edward Vargas and Cecilia Rodriguez say that you told both of them that you saw something on the news regarding a hit and run?
That was afterwards.
That was in the morning, right?
Yeah, that was in the morning.
Before the police showed up at your hotel?
Like, yeah.
Okay, so you had some knowledge of what was going on, correct?
Yes.
All right. And just going back to Cecilia, she stated that you stated to her that you hit someone. And when you told her that, she rolled back over and went into bed.
I didn't talk to her as much as, you know, she was already in bed when I got there.
Okay, so all those other